Well, hello there. This is Professor sXe's Call of Duty Black Ops report card.
Oh man, what is going on, guys? My name is BigBizZe, aka the sXe Beast, and I'm the straight edge king of YouTube gameplay commentary. Bam, bitch. Period. And that's my intro. Yeah, I know. As Anthony would say, what's going on, guys? My name's Anthony. I don't have an intro. Well, my name is Ben, and I have a fucking awesome intro, and I'm very self-conscious about it. So don't make fun of how poorly crafted it is, douchebags. So what's going on, guys? As I said, my name is Ben. I go by BigBizZe or sXe Beast or just sexier. Now, Professor sXe. So, decided I was going to go ahead and send a video to COD Ops 24/7 a little bit earlier than I was originally told to, because I was told, when Modern Warfare 3 comes out, you can go ahead and try and post here if you want, man, because I'm good friends with the Eternal Rampage. However, I decided I'm going to go ahead and try and make a good video before Modern Warfare 3, just because, I don't know, I've wanted to do this video, but I want a good stage to put it on. So I decided I'm just going to do a really quick Call of Duty Black Ops report card. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video. I'm going to try my best to be as informative and professional as possible, which is kind of hard considering how immature I am. But we'll see what I can do. We'll see what I can do. Alright, so first and foremost, I just want to go ahead and talk about the engine on Call of Duty. There's really no better engine in gaming, at least on Xbox. It's really hard to beat the intuitive and instantaneous responses that you get from Call of Duty. The gameplay mechanics are absolutely phenomenal, and for the foreseeable future, I'm just going to say Call of Duty has the absolute 100% best gameplay, not like in the game, but I mean the way the game handles and whatnot. Has the best gameplay that there is right now on console. So since I have nothing else, even remotely close other than other Call of Duty titles to compare Black Ops to, I have to give it an A+. Everybody who plays the Call of Duty games even remotely seriously and likes to remain competitive knows that sound is a huge thing in the Call of Duty franchise. Everybody has a headset nowadays, and everybody listens to footsteps in game types like Search and Destroy, or even in just close quarters situations on Team Deathmatch or Free-For-All, or what have you, pretty much. So sound is huge. People completely underrate just how vital good sound in a game is when you play it competitively. And Call of Duty Black Ops, when it came out, was absolutely horrible for sound. Easily the worst Call of Duty to date when it comes to the surrounding sounds. I liked what they did with the maps, trying to make interactive maps to try and alter the gameplay and make it a little more competitive and less predictable, such as the rocket going off on launch. I know it's very controversial. I'm not saying this is the right thing to do, but I personally enjoyed the addition to the game. I thought it was a very good idea, but it fucks up the sound quite a good bit. So with that being said, I wasn't all too fond with the sound in the game, but after all of the patches that they put out, it definitely helped exponentially. So with that being said, next is going to be the support of the game. There's nothing wrong whatsoever with the way Treyarch conducts themselves. There's a lot of things that I wish they would have fixed that they didn't, that I think would have been much more useful and beneficial to the game's success overall if they improved upon it. However, they didn't, but I know and I understand that they have to go through Activision to get funding and permission to alter the games because everything's funded by the publisher and, as I'm saying, Activision. So with that being said, they couldn't do everything that they wanted to do or that we wanted them to do. So I appreciate that they did as much as they did to the game, and the support was absolutely phenomenal. There was a patch out, I think at least once a month for the most part, at least for the majority of the game's life cycle. They fixed a lot of issues. They added game types to try and help people who had issues with the game, the way it was played and whatnot, and I definitely appreciate that Treyarch went out of their way to try their best to make the game as playable as humanly possible. However, they didn't do some of the things that I really think they needed to do. So for that, I'm going to have to give them a B+. Next is going to be more or less just the matchmaking ordeal, and this is just going to be not like the actual multiplayer gameplay or anything like that. That's going to be coming up very soon, but this is stuff along the lines of getting into lobbies, connections, parties, yada yada yada. The biggest thing that I think Treyarch could have done that would have helped this game more than anything else was dedicate a server to theater mode. I don't mean dedicated servers, get rid of peer-to-peer, because realistically, dedicated servers are overrated on console. They really don't do that much. all they really do is prevent lobbies from endings. You're still going to have lag. Whoever's closer to the host is going to go ahead and still always have a better connection, and there's no alleviating that unless you are host. And peer-to-peer, just I'd say refine the local search and give you closer lobbies so the connection will always be better. But dedicate a server to theater mode, because that's the biggest issue with me when it comes to the lag and the frame rate, because basically the host of every single lobby is responsible for recording theater mode. Therefore, the connection gets strained even more than it needs to be. And say you're in a game like a domination game, for instance, where there's a lot of shit going on. It gets very, very hectic without theater mode being introduced. In prior games, it was very, very difficult, and with theater mode, it just exasperates the lag in an already very, very connection-based game. So when it comes to the matchmaking, I'm going to have to give them a C, because I do like some of what they did. Once again, back to the support. When the game came out, it was very, very difficult to get into lobbies, and you know, there's a lot of times when you would lose people just trying to get into a game. But something very positive that they did when it comes to the matchmaking is in the main lobby, you were able to just hit Y and instantly be scrolling through your friends list to invite the people online. And that was a very, very cool function that I definitely appreciated, because I play on Xbox 360 usually, and on my older Xbox, sometimes it takes a while to get through the HUD and the main guide menu, and I like to be able to just hit Y and instantly be able to invite people to the game. That was definitely something that is a welcome change and hopefully makes a return in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. Next is the overall presentation of the game. Call of Duty Black Ops was a very pretty game. I don't mean in the game play, like when you're actually playing on multiplayer, but what they did very well was like the main menus, you know, the opening intros to the actual game itself, just overall everything. The music was awesome. I'd say Call of Duty Black Ops has the third best gaming music that I've ever heard, second to Modern Warfare 2, and actually Crysis 2 has some fucking epic music. But, you know, I think the music was great, and it's definitely something that I loved. Everything looked really cool, and everything was very, very clean and professional and well done, and I just really appreciate that. And so I'm going to give them a B. And the reason I'm not going to give them an A for this is because it's very, very laggy. In prior games, you were just able to put the disc in, hit play game, mash the A button, then go to multiplayer, and within 30 seconds you can be searching for a lobby if you're really trying. And on Black Ops, it takes me about 2 minutes to get to a lobby, and then I've got to wait forever to get into a game, which is a little bit of an issue for me. That's very, very annoying. I like to be able to play now. It's my game and I want to play it now, you know. Hopefully you guys get that reference, or else I'm going to feel like a fucking retard. So, you know, that's it. I just have to say a B for presentation, but the game definitely looks very well done. The menus were very, very well done, and I love the intro where you're sitting in the interrogation chair and you can get up and interact. It's not very original, but it's definitely something that I never expected to see in Call of Duty, and the fact that they went out of their way to add that was very, very cool to me. And now we're getting into the multiplayer aspect, which is what I'm pretty sure everybody really wants to hear. I don't think they want to hear about what I think about the graphics or blah, blah, blah. On multiplayer, a big focus on this game was balancing everything out. And first on that list was fixing the killstreaks. In Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, the game was very killstreak heavy. The stackable killstreaks were, I think it's a good thing for the games. It increases the overall speed of the game. It makes it a lot more fast-paced, which is what Call of Duty is about. It's a run-and-gun shooter, so it needs to be fast-paced and constantly just hectic and chaos, and it just needs to be fun rather than sitting in corners waiting out your kill streak. But I think the way they nerfed the kill streaks was both good and bad. They nerfed a lot of the lethal kill streaks, but something, just for instance, the Blackbird, they wanted to balance everything, and the Blackbird is a phenomenal idea, and I absolutely love it, and I never wasn't running the Blackbird, but I have to be the first to say that it is going to be one of the most overpowered kill streaks in Call of Duty history, if not the most overpowered kill streak in Call of Duty history. I love the fucking thing. It's absolutely amazing. I will never take it off as long as I play Black Ops, but pretty much showing you where every single person is and where they're going and making it virtually impossible for them to kill you if you don't suck at the game is just a little too much. So I'm glad that they're taking steps towards fixing that and balancing it a little bit more in Modern Warfare 3. So overall, I'm just going to give the kill streaks a B+. I think they did a pretty damn good job. The Blackbird wasn't that ridiculous, but I just think that it shouldn't have been quite as powerful. But overall, I think they did a very good job with the kill streaks, and I think they were actually quite well done. I personally wouldn't have put the SAM turret in the game, but you know, that's neither here nor there. That's just my personal preference. Next is the map balance and the map design. Call of Duty Black Ops is probably one of the worst Call of Duty games yet when it comes to the maps. The reason I say that is because Call of Duty, like I said in prior sections of this video, Call of Duty is a run-and-gun shooter, and something about Treyarch, they want huge maps in the game, which I really don't understand. For instance, for free-for-all, 8v8 on Silo, really? Or Silo in World of War? It's like, what the fuck? Like, what's with these huge maps? The huge maps are absolutely boring, and they take away from the Call of Duty experience, so I'm going to have to give them a D+ when it comes to the maps, because there were, I'm going to say pretty much every map in the game, in my opinion, was garbage, with the exception of 3 maps. One map being Nuketown. I personally didn't like that map, but it was a very well made. It had an absolutely massive fan base, and it's for a reason. It was chaotic, it was fast paced, and that's everything a Call of Duty game should be. Firing Range is absolutely a phenomenal map. It's very, very balanced, and it's just a fun map to play on. And third is one of my favorite maps in Call of Duty history. My favorite map in Black Ops easily, and that's Summit. If I can just have a Summit playlist, like a Summit and Firing Range playlist, I would wet my sand. Like I'm getting hard. I'm like half chub right now just thinking about it. Alright, we're almost through this video. I apologize that it's fairly long, but we've only got 2 more topics to cover. And these are going to be the 2 most controversial. First and foremost, the perks. Everybody was saying with Black Ops, this is going to be the most balanced Call of Duty to date. In fact, I believe that was one of the sub-monos of the game. That's what Treyarch was going for. And I'm going to say they actually came up very, very short on this. Their perk balance wasn't quite as bad as a game like Modern Warfare 2's. However, some of the perks were just so retardedly overpowered in tandem with others. Just for instance, Ghost with Warlord, or Sleight of Hand if you wanted Sleight of Hand. You can go ahead and reload faster and ADS faster, or you can go ahead and have 2 attachments like a red dot and a silencer, derp, and then you can go ahead and move for as long as you want. You can move as you can move as long as you want, or you can move silently, which I thought was absolutely retarded. I think they needed to balance everything out a lot better. For instance, lightweight sleight of hand marathon, retarded class. If you want to look at balanced perks, go look at Call of Duty 4. In your first perk slot, you have something for like not anti-tank, but say anti-air support. You have claymores if you're going to sit back with a sniper rifle, or you're going to play tactically. You can have more stuns, you can have more frags. Granted, it shouldn't have been 3 frags, should have been 2 frags, but whatever. You have bandolier so you can get more ammunition. Middle perk, you can reload faster, your bullets can do more damage, you can take more damage, you can appear off the radar, and then I think they should have added Flak Jacket, just for instance, trying to make it, like a Black Ops or Modern Warfare 3 thing, because Flak Jacket was a great addition to the game. I think that was the only thing Modern Warfare 2 was really missing, and it was just absolutely phenomenal, and I love Flak Jacket. I almost always use Flak Jacket. So they needed to balance the perks out a little bit. In the third perk slot, it should have been Marathon, Lightweight, Ninja, or like Sit Rep or something like that, to where it's like you want to move faster, you want to move longer, you want to move silently. That's what Call of Duty 4 did very, very well. So with that, and now let's talk about the weapons. Oh my lord. Once again, Call of Duty Black Ops wanted to be the most balanced Call of Duty to date. And what did they do? They made a 2-gun game. Basically, this is coupled with the connection more than it is anything. The main reason the FAMAS and the AK-74U in this game were so retardedly overused and overpowered was because regardless of the connection, those were the 2 most consistently used weapons, because they're the most consistent weapons under pretty much any connection in any scenario. They were the most versatile weapons in the game. You could long shot the 74U, and you could shoot somebody right close up, hip fire spray very, very accurately with the FAMAS and pretty much any other game in Treyarch. Something about them, they just love hip fire. But for the most part, it was very, very difficult to actually use anything else without a good connection. I'm not saying all the weapons in the game are bad, but everything else was drastically and emphatically outclassed by the FAMAS and the 74U. So they really needed to work on the weapon balance. I'm going to give them a C-, because depending on the connection, you could use your AK-47, your AUG, your Commando, your Galil, sometimes the Stoner, stuff like that. You could use other weapons, but you are going to be at a hindrance if you weren't running the FAMAS or the 74U. And that concludes our Call of Duty Black Ops report card. As you guys see at the very end, I added everything up based off of your basic GPA, 1 to 4 points, and it came out to the Call of Duty Black Ops pulling a C, which I actually feel came out a little bit low. I think the game's more of like a flat B. I enjoyed the game. I just never really had a desire to play it because it didn't have the longevity that the prior Call of Duty titles did. But I guess it just works out to a C. I guess Call of Duty Black Ops is a little worse than I personally thought it was. I personally like the game. I just don't care about it. So go ahead and leave me your ratings, go ahead and leave me your comments, go ahead and let me know what you think. If you guys enjoyed this video, please do a huge favor, because a lot of hard work went into this video. Go ahead and favorite it, and come check out my personal channel at the sXe Beast. And in my other channels box is going to be my friend Joker's HD, who provided me with these background graphics, which I think are pretty goddamn nice. And go ahead and show him some love too if you feel so inclined. So thank you guys very, very much once again, and all I have to say is,
this is Professor sXe, and I'm signing out.